Hey guys, this is Jackie from Jack Gets Lost in a Book Cult. If you watched my other video, my giving book tags video and 'tis the season book tag, you'll notice I'm wearing the same sweatshirt. Well, I decided to film several videos in the same day, like a lot of people do, I think. So now I'm going to do a tag, and that is I think it's the Reader Problems book tag, I think. I'll have to, if I'm wrong, I apologize, and I will look, but after I'm done filming this, I will look it up to, I will look it up to see if I'm correct, but I think that's what this tag is, the Reader Problems book tag. Okay, so question number 1. You have 20,000 books on your TBR, which is probably accurate. How in the world do you decide which book to read next? So I've been trying to do the TBRs and stick with the TBRs because I feel like it motivates me to get to books that I've neglected, that I'm just, that I've had for a while and just haven't got around to them, or books that I feel like I should read, but it's too easy for me to go back to like fantasy and YA books, because YA I get through them really quickly, and fantasy is my number one favorite genre. But so I've been trying to stick with a TBR, but I've come to realize that I am a bit of a mood reader. I mean, as I said, I'm always in the mood for fantasy. And then those tomes, the books that are over 500 pages, sometimes it's just hard because I feel like I have to devote 100% of my reading time to those books because they take me so long to read. But I've kind of neglected them lately. So I just pick whatever I'm in the mood for. Or as I put it, whenever I have the urge to read. So question number 2. You're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? There's only been a handful of books that I've really not liked and I've just quit. Because I've definitely started more DNFing of books. Like I said, but sometimes there are books that I'm like they're okay, or I'm kind of enjoying them and I continue reading them. But like I said, I've started to DNF books, like the Sleeping Beauty trilogy. I DNF'd. I DNF'd Little Women. I DNF'd The Witching Hour. I can't think of one else I DNF'd. I guess The House of Night I quit reading. I haven't continued with a series of unfortunate events. So I'm definitely getting more into DNFing books. Question number 3. The end of the year is coming, and you're so close, but so far away from your Goodreads goal. Do you try to catch up, and how? I would probably try to catch up as best I could. I am currently 3 or 4 books behind on my Goodreads goal, but the month is young. I'm still, and if I read enough YA books like this, then I will probably get through them. And I don't have that many books. I'm not that far from my Goodreads goal, so I guess I would try to catch up, like I said, as best I could, but I don't know for sure. Actually, I do know. I probably would try to catch up. I'm definitely one of those people that likes to accomplish things and and it drives me crazy if I don't accomplish it, except for like things like cleaning my room. I won't accomplish. Or playing like an instrument or, a sport. I'm really bad at practicing things. I hate practicing. Of course, everybody hates practicing, and practicing is necessary. So I think I would try to catch up. Question number 4. The covers of the series do not match. How do you cope? Honestly, I'm not bothered by it. I mean, I have quite a few series that are like, one of them is mass market paperbacks, some of them are hardbacks. For a while, a lot of my beginning series that I started back in, like, when I first started really getting passionate about reading. I mean, I always loved reading, but all those I've usually gotten the same book in that, but I never really thought about it. I never really thought about that if they don't match. And now I'm just like, I just get whatever book I can find, whichever copy of that book I can find. Although I can understand, and it is a little weird when they don't match. But I mean, what can you do? I can't do anything about it. The only thing you can do is just tell the publishers that please stop doing that. Stop changing the covers. But unfortunately, I don't know if they would actually listen when people complain. Question number 5. Everyone and their mother loves this book that you really hate or you just don't like. Who do you bond with over shared feelings? I just go, whoever I can find that feels the same way about the book, that they don't like the book, then I will go to them. I will talk to them. But I will no one until I can find someone that I can share my feelings with about the book. Like, that actually happened recently, where there was one book that is very popular right now because it deals with an important issue, and I just don't have any interest in reading the book. I mean, nothing against the issue. I'm not dismissing the issue, but I just don't want to read about it. So I found a newer friend, and we started talking about it. So, although I wouldn't go as far as hating the book, I'm sure it's a great book, and if I read it, maybe I would like it. So, I would just stick with the dislike. Question number 6. You're reading a book and are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? The weird thing is I've never cried in books. I mean, I've cried a little. I might get a little teary-eyed, but I've never cried in books. And I'll be like, oh. But I've never actually actively cried during a book. I'm more prone to actively cry while watching a movie or TV show. Okay, question number 7. A sequel of a book you just love has just come out, but you've forgotten everything prior to the previous novel. Will you reread, skip the sequel, trying to find a synopsis on Goodreads? Cry in frustration. I don't know. I guess I would reread. I mean, depending on how far along I am in the series, I guess I would reread it. But, like, I'm going to reread The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. Because I still need to buy the 4th book, the final book, and read it. And then the same thing with the Wicked Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West series, the one by Gregory Maguire. I know I rebought the book, the first book, Wicked. And I'm going to, although I feel like you can read those by themselves. I feel like they can be standalones in that particular series. But yeah, so maybe I would, depending on how far along I am in the series, I might reread it. I would never skip. I don't think you should ever skip, unless it's a book that, like, a companion series, where, like, it's not necessarily a series that, like, the book ends in a cliffhanger and continues into the next book. Then that one I think you could get away with not reading all the books in the series. I mean, there might be some little things here and there, a little background information about the characters, but I feel like you could get away with if it's a companion series. Now, if it's a series like Throne of Glass or Harry Potter, then I feel like you should never skip the sequel. I feel like you should keep going and keep, and just reread it or look up the synopsis about the book to refresh your memory. But don't ever skip. Okay. Question number 8. You do not want anyone anyone borrowing your books? How do you politely tell them nope when they ask? Actually, no one's ever asked me. I mean, one time my sister asked if she could borrow a CD, but usually I end up loaning. If I want someone to read, I recently loaned to my cousin Allie my copy of Jane Eyre, and I would probably buy my own copy, a new copy of it at some point. I don't know when, but I've already read it twice, so it's not the end of the world. And I trust Allie and my cousin Allie, and I think if she ruined my book, then she would buy me a new one. So no one's ever. I mean, and my sister has asked to borrow a CD once. She has to borrow my copy of the soundtrack Wicked so she could listen to it. I am at the time I was a little apprehensive because I am a bit selfish and don't like giving up my things. But over the years I've gotten better at it. But yeah, no one's ever borrowed. I've borrowed books though. I borrowed a lot of books from my sister. And never really give them. And I don't know if I've ever. I think sometimes I give them back, sometimes I don't. I think it's been but I borrowed her books by Amy Tan. So and I am determined to read those. And I also borrowed their copy of John Adams, which is probably more of Ryan's book. So really, I mean, rarely people don't really ask me to borrow books. I did give some of my books to my best friend Larissa, but then because I was regretting it, I didn't want her to feel the need to give them back to me, so I ended up starting to rebuy those books, like the Lunar Chronicles, Kate Morden's books. I'm starting to rebuy those instead of just asking for them back. Okay, so question number 9. Reading ADD. You picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? I mean, I feel like I've never really been in a slump. I mean, there might be period of a few hours where I don't feel like reading when I'm in bed or something, but I've never actually been I feel like I've never been in a slump. If I had, it's only lasted a day. But, I've never been in a reading slump before. I mean, granted, I guess there has been times also where I've picked up and started a lot of books. But I chopped it down to bad timing and too many distractions. But never a real, a slump. I've never felt I've never been in a position where I felt like not reading. Okay, question number 10. There are so many new books coming out that you've been dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Well, I usually get to new books late, and as I've said before in the past, if you've been watching my videos, that I've just recently started my first real permanent job, which I'm apparently off most of this week at least until Friday. I probably will work this weekend. So I always try to limit to how many books I can buy. I've never bought a whole bunch of books in one shopping trip. So, and I don't usually buy the new books right away, but I did buy A Court of Wings and Ruins right on the day it came out. I had to buy it, and luckily for me, with the way where I live now, I feel like I wouldn't really have to worry about it getting sold out at our Books A Million. So, but that is one of the few times I've actually bought in the new book right away. But I never, I get to the bandwagon late usually. I don't start these popular series until later in life. Later in my reading life. So I don't, but, in general I buy 2 or 3 books. Except for, well, no, I bought 3 books then. Okay, so question number, I will buy several books in a month. But like I said, I won't buy them all at once. But these are also not necessarily new books. Question number 11. After you bought the new books, you can't wait to get to. How long do they sit on your shelf? a long time, because I have this weird thing where when I get a new book, I don't want to read it right away. I want to savor it. Plus, I have so many other books that I've neglected that I've had for a lot longer than I need to read. Of course, I don't always get around to those books, but that's hence the TBR. Making TBRs really, I'm hoping, helps. But yeah, so they sit on my shelf for a long time, usually. I mean, sometimes I will get to them right away. On occasion, I will get to the new books I just bought right away. Like I said, A Court of Wings and Ruins, I bought it on that day, and I had just finished that night, finished the night before, finished A Court of Mist and Fury, so I had to get the next book right away, and jumped into it right away. Because, like, especially with the way this one ended, the cliffhanger was like, no, why? So I had to continue. But I mean, I think that's what cliffhangers are supposed to do. They're supposed to drive you crazy and supposed to make you want to read the next book right away. But most authors, they take a year before they publish the next book, and that's partly, I think, because the writers, it will take a long time for them to write the book and perfect it. But I do get antsy, like most people do. So that was which tag was that? That was, okay, that's right. I wasn't sure if this is, but I think it's the Reader Problems book tag. If you like this tag, please do it. It's a fun little tag. If you've already done it, then don't worry about it. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Alright, bye.